Thank you, Director Young. Standing in for me, Senator Padilla.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Appreciate the consideration. First question, Director Young, in 5 words or less, how's the baby?
The baby went quietly and peacefully to daycare this morning, so the baby could not be better. She knew I had someplace to be.
Not so baby anymore. In my time, there are 2 timely issues I'd like to cover with you, and I appreciate the call last week to begin the conversation on some of these. Colleagues, household water and sewer bills have increased by more than 50% this last decade, leaving 1 in 3 Americans struggling to pay their bills. Now, during the pandemic, we actually had a very successful low-income household water assistance program that was approved, which served more than 1.4 million households in 49 states, 5 U.S. territories, the District of Columbia, and 97 tribal communities. So I appreciate the administration's continued recognition of the successful program in the budget by allowing its continuation under LIHEAP. But at least until we can pass my legislation that would make LIWAP permanent. So in the meantime, we're providing, the goal there is to provide a separate long-term authorization of the program. But unfortunately, in appropriating the funds, Congress has failed to allow for the set-aside that the administration has proposed in this and previous budget requests. So Director Young, the question is the expansion of eligible uses to allow LIWAP services factored into the $4.1 billion funding level proposed for LIHEAP? Was this budgeted to ensure that HHS can provide both LIHEAP and LIWAP assistance without eating into the LIHEAP program? So can you speak to that and the importance of enacting an appropriations bill that reflects this goal?
One, I helped get that program started in the appropriations bill. It saved a lot of families from water cutoffs in the middle of a pandemic. How terrible that would have been had we not done something. And we absolutely support the set-aside 2.7% and believe that would allow the LIWAP program to continue without eating into the LIHEAP program, which is also incredibly important.
Okay, because obviously we don't want to eat into one program because they both have a significant merit and need. So look forward to working with you on establishing the permanent program when the time comes. The other issue I wanted to raise is well, let me just say, in that call last week, very much appreciate your recognition of the importance of following the science when it comes to the Mars sample return mission. For the first time in history, colleagues, we will launch a spacecraft from the surface of Mars with samples for detailed study. This effort is being led by the incredible team at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Southern California. And as you know, Congress was unequivocal in the appropriations minibus we enacted last week in support of the Mars sample return mission, and in the larger decadal survey process that determines NASA's funding priorities. Director Young, could you reiterate for the record the Biden administration's commitment to supporting the independent review board assessment and the funding profile resulting from its conclusions?
We are so committed to making decisions based on the internal assessment that we held off on providing a 25 number while that assessment is being done. So we can put forward a 24 number because the appropriations bill asked us to take time and make sure we got that right, in addition to a 25 number after that assessment is done to make sure we get it right.
And can you assure me that both OMB and NASA are on the same page when it comes to this commitment?
We're both on the same page when it comes to this commitment. We are waiting for the internal review at NASA to conclude. Clearly, one of the things we'll look at is the long-term viability, the cost of the project. Lots of missions NASA has to undertake, but we are committed to following the science.
Okay, thank you very much. And in closing, Mr. Chair, just want to thank Director Young for the inclusion of $38.5 million for the Bahadur River project. to continue the important work safeguarding that historically underserved, largely farm worker community in California, and also for the increased funding for the International Boundary and Water Commission. We've been working closely with your office to address the needs of critical infrastructure around the Tijuana River.
And you know,
Thank you, Mr.
we've supported that in the supplemental as well.
Thank you.